Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and today I will be delving into the tragic but also noble and honorable life of the legendary Flame Hashira Kyojuro Rengoku. From his difficult childhood, which included the premature death of his mother and a strained relationship with his father, to his tenure as the mighty Flame Hashira, Rengoku left a massive impact on the lives of our heroes, especially Tanjiro. And as I will explain, Rengoku's legacy continued to shape the story of Demon Slayer all the way up to its final conclusion. So let's all set our hearts ablaze as we pay tribute to this legendary warrior. If you enjoy the Demon Slayer content on this channel and you want to see more, leave a like and comment. It only takes a second, but it helps a lot. And if you're new to AnimeUproar, or maybe you watch our videos but you haven't subscribed yet, make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. Finally, this video will contain Demon Slayer manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. When we first meet him in the story, Rengoku is serving as the Flame Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps. He is the son of the former Flame Hashira, and he takes great pride in his duties as one of the strongest Demon Slayers. Rengoku is full of energy and enthusiasm, and he is an incredibly skilled swordsman due to his unwavering commitment to training and discipline. Rengoku is also an honorable and pure-hearted warrior who abides by a strict moral code. He lives by the principle that the strong have a duty to protect the weak. And in the spirit of that principle, he has sworn to protect the human race from the demons. Because Rengoku takes his duties very seriously, and because he has great respect for the rules of the Demon Slayer Corps, when he initially meets Tanjiro and Nezuko, he believes that killing Nezuko is the only option. The fact that Tanjiro, a Demon Slayer, was protecting a demon is a violation of every rule in the Demon Slayer Corps. And since Rengoku has personally witnessed multiple demons committing horrible murders of innocent people and of his own comrades, he does not think that there is any need for a trial here. What Tanjiro did is a clear violation of the Demon Slayer Code, and so Nezuko should be killed and Tanjiro should be punished. Remember this initial first impression that we got of Rengoku, and remember his stance on Nezuko because we will come back to it later. Now, even though Rengoku is the son of the former Flame Hashira, his father Shinjuro has been anything but supportive. Throughout his childhood, Rengoku's father constantly told him that he had no talent and that he would never become the next Flame Hashira. Rengoku's father also drank frequently, and he could be downright abusive to his two sons. Although Rengoku's mother was a much gentler person than his father, she sadly died when Rengoku was still quite young. So, to say that Rengoku had a tough and tragic childhood would be an understatement. But despite all of that, Rengoku refused to give up on his dream of becoming the Flame Hashira and protecting the innocent. Even though Rengoku agreed with his father that he didn't have any special natural talents, he still forced himself to train hard and become strong against all odds. Even though his father kept telling him to just quit and focus on becoming something other than a Hashira, Rengoku refused to listen to his father, and as we know, he did eventually become the new Flame Hashira. Rengoku clearly did not inherit his father's personality, because he was always very kind and supportive to his younger brother, Senjuro. Not only did Rengoku refuse to allow his father's constant criticism to bring him down, but he also did his best to bring other people up, including his younger brother. As a result, Senjuro looked up to his older brother and saw him as an important source of inspiration in his own life. Since Senjuro also had to deal with his father's abuse and criticism, the fact that he could count on his older brother's support meant a great deal to him. Before she died, Rengoku's mother told him that, as someone who is strong, Rengoku has a duty to protect those who are weaker than him. And so, Rengoku committed himself to saving innocent people from the terror of the demons. In a special one-shot manga chapter that came out after the main Demon Slayer manga ended, we got to see what happened during Rengoku's very first mission as a Demon Slayer before he ever became a Hashira. This early chapter of Rengoku's life is very important for understanding his character. When he is dispatched on his first mission, Rengoku encounters a flute demon who by that point had already murdered 9 of Rengoku's demon slayer comrades. He had also murdered a group of children, and he was about to murder another child when Rengoku arrived. Faced with the sight of all of those corpses, Rengoku was forced to accept the tragic reality about how fragile human life is, and how cruel and ruthless the demons can be. The flute demon is clearly a merciless monster, and he has a powerful blood demon art which makes him almost impossible to fight. Anyone who hears the sound of the demon's flute has their entire nervous system thrown out of whack. So, it is impossible to move and fight properly while hearing the sound of the demon's flute. One option for Rengoku is to cover both of his ears with his hands. But if he does that, then he can't use his sword, and if he doesn't use his sword, then he can't defeat the demon. So Rengoku is backed into a corner. If he uses his sword, his nervous system will be disrupted and he won't be able to fight. But if he keeps his ears covered, he still won't be able to fight because he will be defenseless against the demon. And if that wasn't bad enough, the demon is able to use his flute to summon deadly wolves. And these wolves are going to devour Rengoku if he doesn't find some way to fight back. The demon thinks that all of this is quite hilarious. All of those years of Demon Slayer training have been rendered completely useless by the effects of his flute. The Demon Slayers are seemingly powerless against him. But Rengoku then proceeds to do something extremely badass and something that the flute demon wasn't expecting. Rengoku hits his own ears so hard that he ruptures his own eardrums. This temporarily disrupts his ability to hear, which allows him to use his sword to take the demon down. Rengoku kills the demon and he saves the innocent child that the demon was about to murder. And then, after all of that, Rengoku smiles. He actually smiles through the pain because he wants to reassure the surviving child that everything is going to be okay. Rengoku then expresses gratitude to all of his fallen comrades. It turns out that as they died, the other demon slayers used sign language to secretly reveal the nature of the flute demon's power to Rengoku. When Rengoku arrived and saw the bodies of his comrades, he saw the message that they were trying to convey. And that is how he was able to figure out an effective strategy for taking down the flute demon. Rengoku vows to one day become admirable just like his fallen comrades. This moment and Rengoku's behavior throughout this entire mission showcases so perfectly what kind of valiant warrior he is. He thinks outside the box, he sacrifices his own body in order to save the innocent, and he is able to smile through the pain for the sake of others. Rengoku was clearly living up to the promise that he had made to his mother. The promise to do everything to protect those who were weaker than him. And while this first mission does a lot to show us what kind of person Rengoku is, this mission also shows us why Rengoku hated the demons as much as he did, and why he initially wanted to just kill Nezuko Kamado without any sort of trial or appeal process. In his career as a demon slayer, Rengoku faced demons who were brutal and ruthless. Demons who laughed as they killed his comrades and even as they devoured innocent children. So, based on his own horrifying experiences, Rengoku felt that no mercy can be shown to these creatures. After what he had seen, he simply could not trust a demon. He believed that demons were all inherently cruel and evil, and so they had to be killed immediately before they have a chance to harm more innocent people. But this would all change during the Mugen Train arc. In the present, Rengoku is tasked with riding a train that has become a regular target for a particularly powerful demon. Several demon slayers who had been sent to investigate the train were never heard from again. So, on this particular mission, Rengoku will be backed up by some of the lower ranked demon slayers, including Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and of course Nezuko. After getting their tickets checked by the conductor, Rengoku, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke all fall asleep. And once that happens, they become targets for the mysterious demon called Enmu, a demon with the ability to infiltrate and manipulate the dreams of his victims. Enmu sends a human into each of their dreams, and he offers to give these depressed humans wonderful dreams in the future if they destroy the spiritual cores of each demon slayer inside their dream. If these spiritual cores are destroyed, the demon slayers will never be able to wake up again. But when the girl who enters Rengoku's dream attempts to break his fiery spiritual core, a still unconscious Rengoku instinctively grabs the girl by the neck in the real world. That is how honed his fighting instincts are. And this is how determined Rengoku is to keep fighting to protect the innocent. His Demon Slayer instincts are so well trained that he is able to unconsciously identify a threat and neutralize it while still asleep. It doesn't get much more badass than that. When Nezuko eventually uses her blood demon art to wake everyone up, Rengoku tells Tanjiro that he will defend the 8 train cars from Enmu together with Nezuko and Zenitsu, while Tanjiro and Inosuke go to the front of the train to confront Enmu. Rengoku once again shows off what an absolute legend he is as he defends the back 5 cars all on his own, leaving Zenitsu and Nezuko to take care of just the front 3 cars. This makes perfect sense for Rengoku because as a Hashira, he feels obligated to handle most of the burden on his own. And his ability to protect 5 cars by himself is a testament to his incredible speed, strength, and determination. And in the end, the Demon Slayers managed to save hundreds of innocent lives on the Mugen train, something that would have been impossible without Rengoku's extraordinary commitment. After Tanjiro and Inosuke manage to defeat Enmu, Upper Moon 3 Akaza makes his appearance and he attempts to kill Tanjiro. At this point, Tanjiro is already injured as a result of his fight with Enmu, so Rengoku steps up to protect Tanjiro and he takes Akaza head on. Akaza is very impressed with Rengoku's swordsmanship skills, and he invites Rengoku to become a demon like him. But Rengoku instantly refuses. He has dedicated his life to fighting demons, and he has no interest in becoming one of them. And yet, Akaza keeps trying to convince him to become a demon. After all, if Rengoku turns into a demon, then he won't have to worry about death, and he can spend all of eternity training to get stronger. Akaza would love this because he loves to fight strong opponents, and since Rengoku is already strong, even as a human, he would have incredible potential if he were to become a demon. Akaza can't understand why anyone would want to remain a weak human who is doomed to lead a short life and then die, instead of becoming an overpowered demon who can live forever. But Rengoku says that death is the very thing that makes human life so precious and beautiful. As Rengoku puts it, growing old and dying is what gives meaning and beauty to the fleeting span of a human life. It's precisely because we age and die that our lives have value and nobility. Akaza still doesn't get it, and he thinks that it would be a waste for a gifted swordsman like Rengoku to die so soon. But Rengoku doesn't think that death is sad at all. Death is only natural for human beings, and so whenever it may come, it is not to be feared. Rather, death is a perfectly normal part of life. At this point, Tanjiro attempts to help Rengoku in the fight against Akaza. However, Rengoku tells Tanjiro to stay put because he was already injured during the fight with Enmu, and if his wound reopens, he will probably die. Rengoku then proceeds to engage Akaza in combat yet again, and his skill and determination truly impress Akaza. Eventually, Akaza manages to give Rengoku a fatal wound by sticking his entire arm through the Hashira's stomach. Akaza then tries to convince Rengoku one last time to become a demon. If he doesn't decide to become a demon now, he will definitely die from this wound. Becoming a demon is his only chance to save himself. But instead of entertaining Akaza's proposal, Rengoku decides to keep fighting against Akaza despite this severe injury. In fact, Rengoku uses the wound to his advantage. The sun is about to rise, and Rengoku's plan is to keep Akaza right where he is by keeping Akaza's arm trapped inside his own stomach. Then, once the sun rises and makes contact with Akaza, the demon will burn up and die. Yes, Rengoku's wound will surely kill him, but he intends to do his duty as a Hashira one last time by taking Akaza down with him. Up to this point, Akaza was just impressed with Rengoku's strength and determination, But now, Akaza begins to really fear for his own life. He does his best to break free from Rengoku's grip, but the Hashira refuses to budge. Once again, he fights through the pain just so he can fulfill his duty as Hashira. Now desperate, Akaza cuts his own arms off in order to escape from Rengoku's grip. As Rengoku drops down to his knees, Akaza runs away into the forest before the sun can reach him. That is when we get an incredibly emotional moment in which Tanjiro, heartbroken about what just happened to Rengoku, throws his sword at the fleeing Akaza and screams at him to stop running away like a coward. Tanjiro says that Rengoku is braver and more honorable than Akaza will ever be because he fought to save the lives of others until the very end and he didn't run away like a coward. Tanjiro says that Rengoku won this fight, because even though Akaza is alive and Rengoku is dying, Akaza is running away while Rengoku stood his ground and fought with honor until his very last breath. And I have to agree with Tanjiro here. Akaza as a demon is objectively stronger than Rengoku, but even though Rengoku was fatally injured, he nearly killed Akaza by forcing him to face the sunlight. And in the end, Akaza ran away from the fight, so Akaza lost and Rengoku won, even though this would sadly be Rengoku's final victory. As he is dying, Rengoku does not show fear or sadness. He stays true to his convictions until the very end, and he even takes time to tell Tanjiro to visit the Rengoku family home so that he can learn more about the dance of the fire god. He also asks Tanjiro to tell his younger brother to follow his own path and to tell his father to take care of himself. Just think about that for a second. Even as he is dying, Rengoku wants to help Tanjiro in his quest to learn more about the dance of the fire god. And he also wants to encourage his brother one last time while sending kind words to his father. The same father who mistreated him and discouraged him for his entire life. That is the kind of person that Rengoku is. He is always doing his best to help others, and he doesn't hold any sort of grudge against his father. In fact, Rengoku believes that his father acted the way that he did because he was worried about losing his two sons. Rengoku's father knew from his own experience as a former Hashira that being a demon slayer is extremely dangerous. But because he is old-fashioned and doesn't know how to show his true emotions, he tried to discourage his sons from putting themselves in danger by telling them to just give up on becoming demon slayers because they're not good enough. He treated them this way not because he hated them, but because he loved them and didn't want to lose them. At least that is how Rengoku interprets it, and again, I am in awe of the strength of this man's character. Most people would hate their father if they were in Rengoku's shoes, but Rengoku is not most people. He is able to see the best in everyone, including his father. Rengoku then looks Tanjiro right in the eye and says that after seeing how Nezuko was fighting to protect innocent people on board the train, he now accepts her as a member of the Demon Slayer Corps. That is a complete reversal from his previous stance that all demons should be killed immediately and that anyone who cooperates with them should be punished. But this drastic change shows us that Rengoku is the kind of person who is open to learning new things and to changing his mind. He is not stubborn and stuck in his ways like so many people. Instead, he is willing to learn from new experiences and develop as a person, which is such an important quality for anyone to have. And so, after seeing Nezuko risking her life to protect humans from a fellow demon, Rengoku understands that Nezuko is different and that she deserves respect. Rengoku then tells Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke that he believes in them as the next generation of Hashira. He then tells them not to feel bad about him dying, because as a Hashira, it is his duty to give his own life to protect them, just as his comrades gave their lives to protect him during his very first mission. Rengoku leaves Tanjiro with these words. Go ahead and live with your head held high. No matter how devastated you may be by your own weakness or uselessness, set your heart ablaze. Grit your teeth and look straight ahead. Wow, this was so powerful, and it reminds me of my favorite anime character of all time, Kamina. Those of you who have seen Gurren Lagann know exactly what I'm talking about. In his final moments, Rengoku sees a vision of his mother and he asks her whether he did a good job in keeping the promise that he had made to her. She tells him that he did a wonderful job, and as he is about to die, Rengoku smiles. Earlier on, Rengoku said that death is not something to fear, it is a perfectly natural part of life. And in fact, death is the very thing that makes human life so precious. In the end, Rengoku stayed true to his own philosophy and to his principles. And not only did he willingly die to protect his comrades, but he died with a smile on his face, without any fear or sadness. And even though Rengoku died a noble death at this relatively early point in the story, his legacy definitely didn't die with him. Rengoku sacrificed his life in order to save Tanjiro, and Tanjiro would eventually go on to defeat Muzan. Without Rengoku's sacrifice, Tanjiro would have died here, and Muzan would not have been defeated. But more than that, Rengoku's sacrifice inspired Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and many others. And it drove them to become the incredible demon slayers that they would eventually become. So, when you really think about it, despite being a side character who died relatively early on, Rengoku ended up playing a really important role in the overall story. And I'm so glad that this was the case, because Rengoku is both a great Hashira and a wonderful human being. And that is why his legacy still burns brightly, like an eternal flame that will never be extinguished. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more Demon Slayer content here on the channel, please leave a like to let me know, it really does help. And if you're new to AnimeUproar, or maybe you watch our videos but you haven't subscribed yet, make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. I want to give a big thank you to all of our AnimeUproar patrons for making videos like this one possible. Special thank you to Alpha Sigma and Red Haired Raven, disciples of Lord Twigo himself. And I can't forget all of our The One tier patrons, the ones who rise above all other clans, including Ingrata, Pate Hefa, Aljatal, Dr. Cortman, The Toasted Chi, Ray Carlo, Emperor Otaku, Spidey Life Tanel, Tungsten Tarkus, Baked Buddhist, and Cody Hebert. Finally, thank you to our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, Angel Cruz, Anatoly Kazatsky, Cricket XP, Very Gucci, Alicia Octor, Bonnie Parks, Hinokami and Water, Ted No Ted, iSparky65, Joanne Garcia, Fatboy Games, Metal Mama, Corey McGowan, Deadly Saint, Soul Ray Slice and Dice, and Pillow. If you guys enjoy our videos and you feel that they provide value to you, consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a single dollar will give you access to our patron exclusive Discord, and your name will appear in our videos along with these legendary people. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys!